Hi, and welcome to Sunday with Mike. I have a couple of quick announcements that I wanted to make before we get into today's show. I attended Wedding Wire World 2017 in Washington, D.C. last week, and I learned quite a bit, as I usually do every time I attend a national wedding convention. I'm going to be sharing a summary of my experiences tomorrow night, August 28th at 8 p.m. Central Time with John Young from the Disc Jockey News. Look in the description for the link to that show and be sure to join us. It is a live show and you can actually ask questions if you'd like. Also, we're still saving a seat for you if you have not joined the Sunday with Mike Facebook group for more information and discussion about our show. It's free. We share extra content, bloopers, fun facts, and other nonsense, so you'll have to join us soon. That link is also in the description for today's show. So what are we going to tackle today? I'm going to cover music list for your events, turntables and vinyl records, a basic starter controller, and even if you have a full-fledged controller, it's still handy to have this little guy. And finally, the ultimate solution for beefing up your laptop connections on the job. So grab a cup of coffee and join me. I'll be right back. So I've got my coffee and I hope you have yours. You know, when you need to stay up with the latest and greatest in music chart information, there are multiple places that you can go online. The standard in the music industry has always been Billboard.com, and they are a really great resource for national chart information. Be sure to check out their Hot 100 to get you started. When you need a more localized music chart information, local music, what's your radio station's playing right now, a lot of times it's right under our noses, but we never really knew it. Most radio stations these days have a live listing of all of the songs that they've been playing. So it would help after the summer break and getting started and getting busy again as you crank up and start doing more and more events to check out what songs your local radio stations have been playing a lot. Do a search for your local radio station's call letters, like here it would be KSMB, and the word playlist. So KSMB playlist in a Google search. Be sure to check with more than just one radio station. And then the easy way to do this is just do a copy and paste from the website right into a spreadsheet, and then you can sort them by song name and remove all the duplicates. For some reason, radio stations seem to repeat an awful lot of songs, and I suppose this has to do with their market and the average driving time for a typical listener, because most people wouldn't sit and listen to the radio all day. In any case, that's two different resources, your local radio stations and Billboard.com, that are completely free and won't take up much of your time to gather that information in a hurry and get you current. There is another resource that I like a lot, and we also use this for our school dances. It's called the School Dance Network. This is a paid site that is extremely plugged in to the music of today's students and what they want to hear at school dances. The advantage to this site is that they're really a DJ advocate. This can be a huge time saver because they actually listen to the songs. They post any time, if there's a content concern in the song at 2:11, they'll tell you at 2:11 and here's the concern. And then you can make a judgment about whether that's important to you or not, whether the song needs to be edited. And then they also have a recommendation list of what can and can't be played for the school dances. So for me, this is a huge time saver and a win-win. So if you do school dances, I hope you'll check them out. Their URL is www.schooldancenetwork.com. I'll be right back.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
So have you heard the news that vinyl records are making a comeback? I'm really serious about this. Real songs on vinyl records are making a return after 28 years being gone. For those of you that love turntables, this should be great news. You can now start lugging all those records around just like we did in the good old days. I'm not joking. Sony announced that they will start creating vinyl records again in Japan for export throughout the world. This is also good for those of you that use digital vinyl on your systems, because this should make the price of needles and cartridges come down if it takes off as Sony hopes that it will. Sony also says that the demand for vinyl records has been on a steady increase since 2008, and that in 2016, vinyl sales accounted for 3.6% of their global sales, and it got their attention. They've already installed record-cutting equipment in a Tokyo studio in Japan, and will start pressing records again in the spring of next year, 2018. They went on to say that cutting is a very delicate process when they cut the vinyl, when they're actually making the master record, and that the quality of the sound is affected greatly by the depth and the angle of the grooves. And Sony is scrambling right now to find old recording engineers that they can bring back into the studio so they can pass on their knowledge to the newer generation of engineers who have never cut records before. So you can view the full article by doing a Google search for Sony brings back vinyl records. There's articles all over the web about it if you're interested and you want to know more. I'll be right back. If you already use a controller, this would be a good time to grab a fresh cup of coffee or consider it as a small portable backup. But if not, I want to suggest a starter controller that won't break the bank, and this little guy will fit right into your laptop case. It really is that small. It's a Newmark brand, and it's called DJ2Go. This little controller you can get delivered to your house for under $50. It even comes with a limited license to allow it to work with Virtual DJ right out of the box, so you don't have to pay them any additional money at all for the controller. It's a simple single USB plug and play. It runs off of USB only, all of its power, and it's completely mappable. So you can tweak all of those default buttons and make it much more user-friendly to do more or less exactly what you want it to do. What I really like about this unit is that its small size. It works really well, and for those small jobs that doesn't require heavy-duty full use of a full-featured controller, this one is perfect. It sits right in front of my laptop for a no-fuss setup and goes right back in the computer bag when the gig is over. If you don't have one, I highly suggest that you order one of these and start playing with it. Even if you step up to a larger controller later in the future, you'll still want this little guy around for those quick setup jobs. I need some more coffee. I'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back. If you remember one of our past shows, we talked about some of the ways to solve wearing out your USB jacks, and one of our regular viewers has the ultimate solution to this problem and many others. I want to give a special shout out to Brian Warren for his suggestion on this topic and supplying us with some of his photos so that we could share them with all of you. Thanks, Brian. You rock. I really do appreciate it. His solution to this whole problem is solved by something called a docking station for his laptop. What this basically does is turns your laptop into a desktop for all practical purposes. You have USB jacks, FireWire, video jacks, etc., and it just goes on. And at the end of the night, you shut down your laptop and remove it from the docking station, and you're all done. You're finished. All of your connections to the docking station stay connected in your case. So let's take a look at some of the slides that Brian shared with us, and I'll try to explain. In this first photo on the left, you're going to see the docking station, and the little arrow is pointing to where the male plug sticks up that is waiting for the laptop. And then the next slide is going to be the underside of his laptop where the jack is, and so that jack mates up with the plug on the docking station when you set it down on top of it. And we found out today that it's hot swappable, so you can actually have the laptop running and drop this thing on it, and it'll switch right over to the docking station, lift it up, and now it's back to a laptop without having to shut it down if you so desire. So there's his jack on the bottom of his laptop, and then the final slide is his laptop placed on top of the docking station, ready to go to work, just as it would be a desktop. And all those jacks on the back, the video connections, the USB connections, all of that stuff can already be pre-wired and ready to go in your case, and that eliminates the wear and tear on the laptop USBs completely. It just doesn't get any easier than this. So there's one of the problems that many of you have been having with the owner, or you will have with the over-the-counter laptops. They're not going to have this docking ability. Docking stations are built more for business users and not for consumers. So check your laptop, and if it doesn't have this, then maybe you want to consider this on your next laptop purchase. Or if you're using an older laptop, you might get lucky and find out that you already have this jack underneath your laptop and you didn't even know it. In any case, it's worth looking up and putting this one on your radar for future use, because I think this is a great solution. Again, I want to thank Brian very much for sharing his photos and bringing the docking station to my focus. I knew about them, but I had never thought about it when we were talking about the USB segment of the show a few weeks back. So that's going to be our show for today. I'm going to be back next week with all new topics like normal to help you and your business. Be sure to give me your thoughts on today's show, both in the comment section down below and again in the Sunday with Mike group, where we have more detailed discussion about the show. And then don't forget to give us a thumbs up if we've taught you anything new at all. Again, we're saving a seat for you in the Sunday with Mike Facebook group, and we hope that you'll join us for all the latest updates and lots of discussions about the show. My wife tells me there's a blooper from this one she'll be sharing soon. Again, the link for all of this is in the description column. And then don't forget to join us tomorrow for my live show with John Young talking about wedding wire world in Washington, D.C. So until next Sunday, be safe, and thanks for watching.